Johnny, if you could start with an opening statement about the matchup with Denver and this Oktoberfest event.
No, super excited to have a quality team, a well-coached team, to come into to Morrison Stadium on such a cool event. And so if it's anything like it's been any of the last 12 years, it'll be a great environment for a football match for both the men and the women. And so looking forward for a great evening of football.
Just whatever they take note of, we got Johnny a higher chair.
And looking good. I need this for my car. This would be nice in my car so you can see over there.
You can get in your car. Open the floor to questions.
Johnny, how has it been to get a good start, get that result that you did over San Francisco, and kind of seems like get a little bit more momentum than at this point last year?
Yeah, you know, it's great to be able to get the 3 points. And like I told the guys, all of these matches are learning moments. And so just when you think things are clicking exactly how you've planned it, there's always something else that arises, right? And every team gives you a different challenge. Obviously, San Francisco is a very, very good team. And the challenge for us in that particular match was coming out flat in the second half, obviously without taking anything away from San Francisco. I mean, they were a very good soccer team. But we came out really, really flat in the first 15 minutes, and we almost paid dearly for it. But the boys showed some resiliency and some real grit and focus to be able to still come out with the 3 points. And so, you know, again, every one of the 4 matches we've had has presented a different challenge. And because of those challenges, I think we're a better team today than we were a couple of weeks ago.
Is resiliency, do you think, the main trait that describes this group so far? I think against Drake, you had the kind of weird lull in the middle and then bounce back in the second half. Same thing against San Francisco. Is resiliency the trait of this team so far?
You know, I think it's one of them. You know, to be honest with you, I think these guys are doing a good job at being able to lean on one another. In particular, when you break it down to each individual, if one particular individual is having a bad evening, guys around them are doing a good job to help that guy out of that rut, whether it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or a half. And so outside of resiliency, I think that these guys enjoy being able to help each other out as well. And so, you know, there's a sense of belief in one another, and I think that showed true against San Francisco after the first 15 minutes of the second half.
You saw both Denver and Grand Canyon last year. Anything you can take from tape to translate, or anything you know about their play styles that you're looking to show out on the pitch?
Yeah, you know, traditionally, Denver is a very well-coached team. They're very organized. They're definitely a team that they won't give you anything, and they won't beat themselves. So on the day, you have to be focused. You have to be deliberate in what you're trying to do on the attack, because they're very diligent in their defense. They're very organized. They're very committed to defending as well as attacking, but they're not going to give you anything that you don't earn. And so knowing that and seeing what type of season they've had already and some very good results against some very good teams out on the West Coast, and I think they tied SMU 2-2, but, you know, played Cal and Stanford, to name 3 of the teams that they've played. They've done very well against those teams. So it's not going to be a surprise to us that they're a very well-coached team, a very good team, and like Glenn spoke about earlier, ranked number 3 in the country at the moment.
How would you assess your defense and goaltending through the first 4 matches? Is it meeting your expectations or still ways away from where you want to see it?
I'm sorry, did you say goaltending?
Defense and goaltending, yeah.
Yeah, no, you know, I think our collective sense of defense could be a little tighter. At times, maybe we get a little bit stretched out, and that presents opportunities for the other team. We do play a high octane attacking model, and we understand that at times it leaves us a little bit susceptible to the counterattack, and we're okay with taking that risk, knowing that at the end of the day, we're wanting to have more goals than our opponents. Having said that, though, I still think that our defensive stance could be a little tighter in putting out fires before they start. And a lot of that has to do with being able to read the game rather than acting reactionary.
Do you bring up last year's match at all and say, hey, we went on the road and tied them 2-2, or are they completely different than the team you saw last year in Denver?
Yeah, I try not to bring up matches in the past so much, you know, being that we are in the college game, and there's so much turnover and people graduate and people move on. And so I try to live in the now. Although obviously, traditionally, when you're gearing up for certain programs, there is a style of play that program might offer, especially if they're still under the same coach and whatnot. But in regards to the guys and when I'm addressing them, I'm not bringing up last year's match, no.
Has there been a chance to really find your footing with this extended homestand to open up the season? Has it allowed you to bring anything more out of your group than, say, if you had to do all the traveling?
No, absolutely. I think it's definitely an advantage, and we've had it both ways in the last 4 or 5 years, where we've started on the road for the first 5-6 matches before we come home. And look, I say this every year, and I'm not saying it because I work here. It's simply true. Morrison Stadium is one of the best stadiums in the country. So any chance that you can do that and play in some of the best fans in the country is a plus. And so I think it's helped us to gear up, and I think our learning curve has increased because of it. You're definitely in a more comfortable place when you're able to say that you're at home, one of the best facilities in front of some of the best fans, and you're getting to sleep in your own bed, right, while you're preparing it. So this stance has been a fun one.
You see that as a factor that the fans could play against Denver now that you get them here?
I hope so. We know that when we go to Grand Canyon next week, it's definitely going to be a factor. They got a boisterous crowd, and so that's what it's supposed to be. That's why they call it home field advantage. So I'm hoping the fans are going to get crazy and loud and they make it difficult for Denver on Friday.
How much do you feel like a win on Friday could help the team going forward? Just not just a resume, but kind of help them know what they can do against quality opponent.
Oh, absolutely. Anytime you're playing a ranked opponent, if you're able to go out there and execute the game plan and come out victorious, it's going to do great things for you, not just for the up-and-coming games, but things are going well and you're playing late November. You're going to think back to those matches where you were victorious against some very good programs, and it's going to help propel you forward.
What do you like about Socktoberfest? Is there anything you get to partake in with it?
It's I love the energy. I tell our marketing department this all the time. A sporting event should be a party, regardless of what sport it is. And Socktoberfest rings true to that. It's a celebration, and I love the ambience. I love the energy, the music in the background, people cheering each other with their mugs. I mean, it's a hoot, and so really excited. And I'm very thankful for all the people that have supported us over the years to make this thing go.
Any further questions for John? Thanks, Johnny.
All right, man. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for coming.